bringing you the issues that matter, from the four corners of Auckland and beyond. For every action, there is a reaction, and for every breaking story, there is Darpans Local News.
Hello and welcome to Darpans Local News. I'm Eva Tolmash. First, a look at the headlines. Construction work for the installation of digital transmitters has begun at the 1B broadcast premises located in Manukau after a spate of complaints galore from the disgruntled subscribers. The management at 1B says the customers' patience will be amply rewarded in the coming weeks. A full house of about 200 people came out to support the calls for Electrify Now campaign, urging the government to urgently fast-track the electrification of the Auckland rail network. Tens of hundreds attend Buddha's Day Multicultural Festival held at the Fo Wang Shan Temple at Flatbush in Manukau. Interpreting in New Zealand, a pathway forward was launched in Auckland City formally by the Office of Ethnic Affairs. A government initiative to support the establishing of a national standard for interpreting. New Zealand Carnatic Music Society, a not-for-profit organisation established in 1999, has secured recognition from the University of Madras for its Institute of Distance Education that prepares the younger generation in learning Carnatic music, languages and Indian culture. A photo exhibition of the Somali is underway, aiming to socially educate and break down barriers through images. And Dr. Sapna Samant is back with a review of the much talked about Mira Nayer's movie, The Namesake. Now for the news in detail. Construction work for the installation of digital transmitters has begun at the 1B broadcast premises located in Manukau. This will make 1B the largest vertically integrated media and entertainment company in New Zealand. 1B has an integrated range of businesses encompassing the content to consumer value chain of media and entertainment business. 1B projects are unique in every aspect of content, aggregation and distribution through satellite and digital transmitters. Although the footprints of its signals reach as far as New Zealand, Australia and the Pacific region, including Fiji, the company seeks to address the entertainment and information needs of New Zealand and Australia initially. The company ran into rough weather when it could not deliver on its promised choice of 14 channels when it began its operations recently, owing to alleged mismanagement and wrongdoing by an employee who subsequently was sacked by the proprietor, Kamal Singh.
We have received the equipment and very soon we will be up, construction is going on, so we will be up with all the channels as soon as possible.
With the induction of Chief Engineer Neela in its ranks, the company has also enlisted the services of former Member of Parliament Matt Robson, who is guiding Kamal Singh in his company's operations. Meanwhile, disgruntled subscribers have been demanding their money back from the company since they do not have a choice except to watch one single channel. The management says that negotiations are underway with the service providers for hosting their windows through 1B in the region.
This will be our largest dish. This is a 9 metre. You know, we have the 4.5 and we have a 3.7 antenna on the property. This can receive television, audio, video, all types of communications, down to the satellite on the property and uplink as well to send out to other parts of the world and New Zealand. So this is the basis of the television program that 1B will be receiving.
What we are doing here, we are installing satellite dishes. So what we are doing over here, we are preparing the site. 3 antennas, 1, 2, 3. We are excavating all this, preparing the slab, pouring the concrete, ready for the dishes to be installed. The whole area is going to be fenced out, and that's basically our work.
When this is constructed, it'll be one of the major teleports receiving and sending signals in the whole of the Asia-Pacific region. It'll be first of its type in New Zealand.
With the arrival of state-of-the-art equipment through a container and completion of the installation work in the coming weeks, 1B would truly be New Zealand's first and the Pacific's third largest fully integrated media and entertainment company for Hindi infotainment. 1B's unique combination of business and growth opportunities, both in New Zealand and Australia, gives a unique position in the Pacific media space. From Star One to Etc. Punjabi, from the Khalsa TV to QTV channels, it brings together the most valuable media brands that support their commitment to deliver consistent growth with more channels and content. The integrated transformation of 1B can unleash the true potential of high-end television viewing experience with true DVD quality. The company claims that the connoisseurs of good sound can make sure they experience true stereophonic sound effects which only 1B can bring to your home.
1B is very proud to bring a service to the people from the overseas television channels.
1B takes television viewing to the next level as it supports various features as value enhancements.
Well, Kamal, this is what you'll be able to do to deliver that service, because this is state-of-the-art equipment which will monitor the signals coming in from India and the world for the viewers who will be getting their television direct from India and later on the world. Nothing can match this in New Zealand, and you can be guaranteed that this will help us to deliver the service that you want for the viewers for 1B.
1B also brings to you exclusive international channels for the first time in New Zealand and Australia. You can enjoy all of these never-seen-before channels in uninterrupted viewing without any transmission cuts. Certainly a delight for the passionate TV viewer.
To all the customers of 1B, we've got a clear message. The channels are almost ready to go on air. We have our antennas being built by the best available engineers in New Zealand. We have the most modern equipment to control and monitor the service that you will be getting. And we thank all of our subscribers for their patience, for the delays that they've had to undergo until they get this service direct into their living room. But it won't be long now before those channels will be coming directly to you. And any of you who want to become part of the 1B family, just make sure that you get in touch with us, and we'll make sure that you become a subscriber for this exciting new service that is in and coming to New Zealand.
Buddha's Day Multicultural Festival was held at the Pho Wang Chun Temple at Flatbush in Manukau. A vast number of dignitaries attended the function. Notable among them was Manukau Mayor Sir Barry Curtis, Minister of Ethnic Affairs Chris Carter, Labourist MP Dr Ashraf Chaudhry, National MPs Pansy Wong and Dr Richard Worth, Deputy Mayor Auckland City Dr Bruce Hucker, diplomats and a spectrum of religious figures. The event attracted hundreds of visitors from all sections of society. Buddhism is a path of teaching and practice. Buddhist practices such as meditation are means of changing oneself in order to develop the qualities of awareness, kindness and wisdom. The experience developed within the Buddhist tradition over thousands of years has created an incomparable resource for all those who wish to follow the path of spiritual development. Ultimately, the Buddhist path culminates in enlightenment of Buddhahood.
A magnificent celebration. Today, of course, we're celebrating the birthday of Buddha, but we're also celebrating the multicultural characteristics, not only of Manukau, but also of the Auckland region in New Zealand. I reminded the audience there this morning that we have 165 different cultures in Manukau. We've got about 45,000 Maori, the tangata whenua of Aotearoa, New Zealand. We've got about 80,000 people from the Pacific, and very importantly now we have a growing population of people from the Asia-Pacific basin. But indeed we have people living here from all corners of the world, and we celebrate the wonderful diversity, the energy, the colour, the vitality that this diversity brings to our city and region.
For me, a great day, and more of it to come too.
Temple members take part in prayers for world peace, the Moon Festival and the annual Buddha's Day Multicultural Festival in Auckland City, which has drawn 20,000 people in each of the last 2 years. An accommodation block is finished for monks and for devotees who will come to retreats or study. There are plans for a 7-storey pagoda to hold the ashes of deceased members. The Pho Wang Chun order was founded in Taiwan in 1956 by the Venerable Master Xing Yang. He was impressed with the peace-loving nature of New Zealand during a 1992 visit to 20 members and decided it was a fertile place to propagate the teachings of Buddha. About 52,158 New Zealanders gave their religion as Buddhist in the 2006 census, compared with 40,000 in 2001, 28,000 in 1996 and 12,700 in 1991.
This new temple in Flatbush in Manukau City is a wonderful icon for the people of all of the Pacific and for the people of our city. It's a beautiful cultural icon, perfect day to open the Buddha Day. Wonderful day.
The Electrify Now Forum was held recently in Auckland, very well attended and engaging. A full house of about 200 people came out to support the calls for the government to urgently fast-track the electrification of the Auckland rail network. This was followed by stimulating information from speakers on the topic, including cam pictures from the Campaign for Better Transport Joel Crayford, Chair of the Auckland Regional Transport Committee, Chair of the Auckland Regional Council Mike Lee, and Green co-leader Jeanette Fitzsimmons. They discussed why now is the time to get real action from the government on this issue. The meeting closed with a reminder that Auckland missed the opportunity to go electric a generation ago, and that it mustn't let another generation of degenerated diesel services continue.
Wellington, as we know, already has an electric rail network. It has about 139 carriages compared to Auckland's 100. So right now we have a third less trains than Wellington, attempting to serve 4 times the number of people.
Arterial infrastructure, like the railway lines that we've seen in Perth or the busway, but there needs to be service connectivity to where people want to go, not near, not like a kilometre away.
The Minister of Finance is currently, seems to be the Minister of Railway, and he is leading the $600 million upgrade of the Auckland rail network, which is happening right now.
Let's not waste the next 17 years arguing about whether we need electric rail and when we need electric rail. To achieve that vision as set out by the Prime Minister, we must make the decision to electrify now.
Again, Michael Cullen seemed to be reading from the same script.
I think it is fair to say that the bulk of public transport in Auckland will be provided by the bus services, and I've suggested frequently to Auckland the best slogan that they can have in terms of public transport is buses need roads too.
Line haul public transport in a city like Auckland should be conducted by rail, and so buses would run along local roads in order to feed the rail system, in order to link up across the suburbs. But in well-run public transport systems there is no need for buses to use motorways. So it's a completely bogus argument, but it's a bogus argument that shows how deeply ignorant the Finance Minister's policy advisors are of what a well-run public transport system looks like.
Why is it that 100 US cities are building rail at the moment? So perhaps we'll have all the American cities and all the Australian cities, by the way, Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, are now following Perth in investing heavily in new rail projects. Perhaps Auckland will be the last city in the world to do it, but that's no great achievement, is it?
An e-card campaign is underway. The Green Party is urging everyone to help send a message to the government to set a timetable and financial guarantees to allow the electrification project to get underway quickly. Aucklanders are encouraged to send an e-card to PM Helen Clark, Finance Minister Michael Cullen and Minister of Transport Annette King. The Green Party is working with the Campaign for Better Transport, CBT, to gather signatures on a petition calling the government to urgently agree on an electrification timetable and funding to enable electric trains to be ordered in the upcoming months. Auckland needs more trains now, but should buy electric rather than more diesel, because electric trains are faster, quieter, more frequent and less polluting.
The Prime Minister did mention it in her speech at the beginning of the year in Parliament, and the pressure is really on. You could see all the different people represented here, all the organisations represented here tonight, that I think the pressure is on to actually announce a timetable for electrification.
Electrification of the Auckland Rail is the only realistic thing. It's the only thing that's going to give us the quality of rail service that we need. Diesels just can't do it. They're not fast enough, they don't have the frequency, you can't build a tunnel to connect the southern and the western line because you can't have diesel fumes in a tunnel and asphyxiate everybody. The electric units are cheaper than diesel units. We just need to bite the bullet and build the electrification now, and we can have a high quality first world rail system in Auckland.
Well, this has been an issue which goes back quite a few years, but I have to say I'm extremely confident that the government will make a decision this year which will give us the green light to go ahead and electrify Auckland's rail networks.
It's a has to have, and I hope a decision is made soon, because it is crunch time with rolling stock. We don't want to purchase a whole lot of diesel trains and then find in 10 or 15 years' time they have to be modified or adapted or sold. And the decision on electrification will change how we design the areas around the rail corridors, will allow us to start thinking about a central underground tunnel, be all sorts of ramifications from it.
Interpreting in New Zealand, a pathway forward was launched in Auckland City formally by the Office of Ethnic Affairs, a government initiative to support the establishing of a national standard for interpreting, a platform for those who teach, hire or work in the area and who hold views on how we can rationalise and support excellence in the interpreting profession. Language Line is the telephone interpreting service we use to assist people with little or no English. It's available from Monday to Friday from 9 AM to 6 PM. It's easy to use. After just 9 months in operation, Auckland City Council's partnership with a phone translation service has proved popular, mostly with customers speaking Chinese dialects. Language Line provides a telephone interpreting service for non-English speaking customers. It is operated by the Office of Ethnic Affairs and can be accessed by calling Auckland City Council on 379 2020. It can service 37 languages, and an interpreter is usually available within 2 minutes of a request. A three-way call then takes place between Auckland City Council, the customer and the interpreter. Language Line has been a significant step towards improving communication between the Council and ethnic communities, says Councillor Kathy Casey, chairperson of the Community Development and Equity Committee. Auckland City Council uses Language Line for about 50 calls per month. The majority of calls relate to food safety and hygiene courses. Other callers want general information about things like rates, parking, building consents and dogs.
And as we grow, people have come from all parts of the world. And to understand each other, we need interpreters and translators. We also need to know that our interpretations are accurate and confidential. We need more and more interpreters to ensure that people are understood, that they are listened to and able to participate actively in society.
The largest number of calls, 75%, are from Chinese customers speaking Mandarin, Cantonese and Chinese dialects. Korean, Samoan and Japanese are the next most frequent callers.
The launch is a third part of a series of resources we've created on DVD. This third part is about interpreting standards. We know there are many good interpreters in New Zealand and they're doing a great job, but we need to ensure the quality of interpreting is maintained, that it's consistent, transparent, that interpreters know codes of ethics, how to behave, how to convey information neutrally, and so on and so forth. So this DVD aims to stimulate discussion and dialogue amongst the many stakeholders who have attended this event tonight, to encourage them to look at this issue and perhaps to identify some ways where we can make this happen.
New Zealand Carnatic Music Society, a not-for-profit organisation established in 1999, has secured recognition from the University of Madras for its Institute of Distance Education that prepares the younger generation in learning Carnatic music, languages and Indian culture. NZCMS established its education wing, the Centre of Learning, in 2003. The Centre's objective is to motivate students and to encourage them to learn Carnatic music. The theory and practical examination are for vocal and instrumental, string, wind and percussion music and are held in Auckland. The function was well attended by a large crowd. High Commissioner of India, K.P. Ernest, while speaking on the occasion, appreciated the conducive atmosphere of New Zealand society in general and the government in particular to encourage and nurture the growth of other cultures and their art forms. S. Ramachandran, Vice-Chancellor, University of Madras, hopes to create a global presence by creating and granting recognition to many centres to promote Tamil studies and fine arts. Dr. S. Selvakumar, President of the NZCMS, expressed happiness at the grant of recognition and recognised the contribution of teachers, committee members and students for this great milestone.
Going through the contents of the syllabus, we find it is almost similar to what we offer through our distance education mode. So we have now granted the affiliation to this society to our university. By this, we will be able to award certificates for those students who are studying in this New Zealand Carnatic Music Society.
We now have a report by Dr. Sapna Samant on Meera Nayar's popular international film, The Namesake.
New film The Namesake releases on the 5th of April at the Academy Cinema in Auckland. The Namesake is based on a novel of the same name by Jhumpa Lahiri. Jhumpa, an American-born Indian, won the Pulitzer Prize for her first book, The Interpreter of Melodies. Now, it's really hard to adapt books into screenplays, but Sunita Arapurwala has managed to condense the book, spanning decades, into 2 hours. The film begins in Calcutta, where Ashok, played by Irfan Khan, has gone to see his prospective bride Ashima, played by Tabu. The two of them get married and move to cold New York. Here they settle in and adjust themselves to the alien ways of the American world, and as migrants do, replicate their own culture as best as they can. Unfortunately, the distance from India means that when they have to name their firstborn son, they do not have a good name approved of by the elders. So Ashok and Ashima decide to call their son Gogol after the Russian writer Nikolai Gogol. And thus begins the life of a new generation born in America. The Namesake encapsulates the trials and negotiations of middle-class migrants and how their children grow up to define their own multicultural space. Tabu and Irfan Khan have given superlative performances and captured the essence of Ashok and Ashima. And Kalpen gets right into the character of Gogol Ganguly. The rest of the cast is adequate too. It is really Meera Nayar's best film to date. Thanks to her, there is no exoticism and no melodrama of tradition-bound parents and rebel children. Instead, she brings out the contrast and connections between Calcutta and New York very well. Both cities have an extensive rail network, which is an integral part of the story. Both cities are chaotic, both cities are crowded, yet they're both different spaces that make people behave differently. The cinematography brings out these cityscapes beautifully, and Nitin Sawhney's music enhances every scene. So The Namesake is a definite must-see, a gentle film that brings out the migrant experiences, and anybody with a migrant experience must definitely go see this film. Highly recommended. This is Dr. Sapna Samant for Darpans Local News.
The Human Rights Film Festival showcases stories of activists and survivors through the eyes of courageous filmmakers, putting a human face on threats to individuals' freedom and giving voice to those who might otherwise be silenced. Film has the power to educate and inspire, and we believe the 2007 programme will be no exception. Featuring both international and local documentaries and dramatic films, the HRFF brings to New Zealand audiences films that otherwise would not be available. The theme of the 2007 festival is identity. The Auckland chapter of the HRFF will open on May the 2nd and will run for a week until May the 9th.
We are now part of an international human rights film network, but also because we're becoming an established part of that festival community, so people know more about us.
That's all from me this week, and now it's over to Javed. I'm Eva Tolmesh.
Now it kind of seems cliched that I have to say it over and over and over again, but another week and another episode completed. Was it good? Was it brilliant? Guess what? I would really like to know. So keep channeling your feedback, the good, the bad and the ugly, on info@teamworkproductions.co.nz. And also guys, please take the time to see what's the latest and greatest, jump onto the net and log into www.teamworkproductions.co.nz. Thought of the week? The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. No quick bucks to be made, my friends. Till next week, a warm goodbye, and until we meet again, I am Javed Khan, to the stars and beyond. Ka kite. This program has been supported in part by New Zealand On Air.
Kamal Singh in his company's operations. Meanwhile, disgruntled subscribers have been demanding their money back from the company since they do not have a choice except to watch one single channel. The management says that negotiations are underway with the service providers for hosting their windows through 1B in the region.
This will be our largest dish. This is a 9 metre. You know, we have the 4.5 and we have a 3.7 antenna on the property. This can receive television, audio, video, all types of communications down to the satellite on the property, and uplink as well to send out to other parts of the world and New Zealand. So this is the basis of the television program that 1B will be receiving.
What we are doing here, we are installing satellite dishes. So what we are doing...
Music, languages and Indian culture. A photo exhibition of the Somali is underway, aiming to socially educate and break down barriers through images. And Dr. Sapna Samant is back with a review of the much talked about Meera Nayer's movie, The Namesake. Now for the news in detail. Construction work for the installation of digital transmitters has begun at the 1B broadcast premises located in Manukau. This will make 1B the largest vertically integrated media and entertainment company in New Zealand. 1B has an integrated range of businesses encompassing the content to consumer value chain of media and entertainment business. 1B projects are unique in every aspect of content, aggregate rewarded in the coming weeks. A full house of about 200 people came out to support the calls for Electrify Now campaign, urging the government to urgently fast-track the electrification of the Auckland rail network. Tens of hundreds attend Buddha's Day multicultural festival held at the Fo Wang Shan Temple at Flatbush in Manukau. Interpreting in New Zealand, a pathway forward was launched in Auckland City formally by the Office of Ethnic Affairs. A government initiative to support the establishing of a national standard for interpreting. New Zealand Carnatic Music Society, a not-for-profit organisation established in 1999, has secured recognition from the University of Madras for its Institute of Distance Education that prepares the younger generation in learning Carnatic music.
Bringing you the issues that matter, from the four corners of Auckland and beyond. For every action, there is a reaction, and for every breaking story, there is Darpans Local News.
Hello and welcome to Darpans Local News. I'm Eva Tolmash. First, a look at the headlines. Construction work for the installation of digital transmitters has begun at the 1B broadcast premises located in Manukau after a spate of complaints galore from the disgruntled subscribers. The management at 1B says the customers' patients will be amplification and distribution through satellite and digital transmitters. Although the footprints of its signals reach as far as New Zealand, Australia and the Pacific region, including Fiji, the company seeks to address the entertainment and information needs of New Zealand and Australia initially. The company ran into rough weather when it could not deliver on its promised choice of 14 channels when it began its operations recently, owing to alleged mismanagement and wrongdoing by an employee who subsequently was sacked by the proprietor, Kamal Singh.
We have received the equipment and very soon we will be, our construction is going on, so we will be up with all the channels as soon as possible.
With the induction of Chief Engineer Neela in its ranks, the company has also enlisted the services of former Member of Parliament Matt Robson, who is guiding